Huge.
Wasn't that trying your magic tricks?
Always lighting stuff on fire.
There's Esfandiari folding the ace-8 offsuit, so he's folded ace-8.
Well, in Iran, actually, there's a holiday once a year where you actually
they're obviously both
big
going
fires on
with
the
a
street
very
and jump
tight
over
strategy.
It's a tradition every year. It's crazy.
Two raises,
So,
6,000.
I don't know, I like anything I never wanted anymore, I would just burn. You know, when I was a kid in school, you'd steal, like, not steal, but borrow other people's jackets and sometimes burn them and stupid stuff like that. I burned a lot of stuff. I loved fire.
And then you kind of converted this part of your personality.
Getting busy here in the Asper's Casino.
This is nothing, Jesse. This is the Westfield Mall. I wish I could have a camera up there, because I've been in a lot of malls all over the world. This is the busiest mall I've ever seen. On the escalator from the 4th floor to the 3rd floor, I had to wait 35 seconds as people just flowed. You were downstairs too. I've never seen. I was here for the Olympics. It wasn't this crowd.
Like cards like magic.
We are in the same place, just really a stone's throw away from Olympic Stadium here. This new part of East
Westfield
London.
Mall with 4 levels and a huge food court. It's just unbelievable the number of people, Jesse. I've seen football stadiums empty and not look as full. I was coming down the escalator from the 2nd to the 1st floor, and I looked out and I wished I had my camera because the hallway was filled as far as I could see. I was like, what is this?
Are you on the button, Jungle? I can't see.
Jungle Man has put in the 3-bet. He's done it against the Esfandiari Open and the Trickett Flat.
So Esfandiari has a chance here if he can make a great read against Jungle Man and ship it. He's going to win all the chips out there in the pot. He may just decide to call and leave his options open. Take a flop. He might flop a set, or he might decide his hand's good later. But he has an opportunity right now to take it away. It's not that I expect him to do that, but
7 calls.
And that might bring Trickett because they're both trying to flop a set.
So many people would have just flatted there on the button with the Queen-10 offsuit, feeling like a multi-way pot. Why does the Jungle Man 3-bet?
I think Trickett's going to call this. And he sees an opportunity, too. Maybe he'll ship it. No, he's going to call.
He sees the opportunity because you do.
Well, and, those are 2 great poker players, those 2 in the shot right there. And, you know, and I think they think a little bit like me, and that we want to try to flop sets because it's a good way to win a lot of chips. And Trickett's flopped a set, so it's just that's exactly what he was hoping for. He's just right now he's so happy.
He is so happy because he's thinking to himself, you know, this guy, the Jungle Man, has got me, and now I got him.
The Jungle Man could go either way here. He may decide to take a free card. The last time it came King-9. Remember, Jesse? He had Queen-10 of diamonds. He spiked a jack.
2 bets, 25,000.
Now, if Esfandiari gets involved in any way, Sam Trickett's probably going to raise. But if he doesn't, Sam may just call and try to let Jungle Man hang himself.
I mean, doesn't Trickett kind of have to call because it wouldn't make sense if he does anything else? Like, what is he trying to represent if he check raises here? I mean,
well, it's a very complicated situation. You know, he only makes money if he only makes a lot of money if Jungle Man has a king or has a 9 and doesn't believe him. So, So right now, Trickett's running through his mind is, am I going to make more money raising or am I going to make more money calling? And he's decided to raise.
Yeah, raises.
He sure has.
But he also saw what I did to Jungle Man when I check raised him with top pair, and Jungle Man floated. So
that was in the biggest hand of the 4th heat.
Yeah, I remember that one well.
Jungle Man went for it with absolutely nothing. Could we be seeing something similar here?
Wow. Trickett, see, hopefully, you know, I'm not rooting against Jungle Man, but...
And the way that pot went is that you led on the turn and Jungle Man raised with absolutely nothing.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So right now, he's in just a beautiful position here. He just has... He has Jungle Man in there way off of his rocker. Jungle Man got in his rocker, off of his rocker against me in the 4th heat and cost me the Premier League when he hit runner. Remember, Jess?
I do.
But I don't think he's going to have so much luck against Trickett here. Now, Trickett has to find a way to bet small. He knows the pattern of the hand that I played. He may even check this.
I mean, he knows it cold because it was talked about again and again. Guys like Trickett.
No, yeah, I mean, right, exactly.
They were guys like Trickett and Antonio. They were seeing. We knew what the Jungleman that he was going to raise on the turn, and we knew he had nothing.
Yep, everybody knew, and so he has a tough decision here.
He's checked.
I love it. I gotta say, I love it. I gotta say, I love it because a bet gives Jungleman a chance to get away from this hand, and beautiful play, Sam, beautiful.
So could Sam even have something now that was like almost like a 10-jack or something like that, the same kind of hand as Jungleman?
Now here's the situation that, you know, Jungleman's gone ahead. Here's the problem. If Sam just calls, he's announced the strength of his hand with the call. It's hard to just call. Sam's wishing he had about 200,000 so the Jungleman could try to bluff him the 150 more on the river. I think he only has about 180, so I think he's forced to raise here. He probably would hate to raise here.
Yeah, in his mind, Jungleman's probably drawing dead, right?
Right.
You know, it's not a completely dry board, but it's fairly dry. Jungleman is in fact drawing to just a jack. What a
so
situation
for Sam.
has come up so early.
He's trying to figure out if. Oh, beautiful play. Oh my God.
He is going
he's
to
really
let
gambling.
the jungle hang himself on the river.
Yep. I mean, and Jungleman, who's had all the cards, is in danger of bluffing off all of his money.
Geez, I kind of feel like Sam has played this hand in such a way that he looks like he has a draw. You know, he's got.
There are no draws.
The 10-jack, perhaps.
No. There are no draws, really.
So he's Jungleman's thinking, can I get him off a king or something like that?
Jungleman has to saber rattle a little bit here. I mean, excuse me, Trickett's saber rattling a little bit here. He's counting his chips, counting his chips.
And then he's going to check?
Yep.
Come into my web, Sir Jungleman. Come into my web.
The longer he studies, the weaker it makes him look. So, can he find the check?
You know, he's all in.
Oh, he's gone all in.
Weird.
And see, that's what I waited. That's what I waited 400 hands for in my heat. 400 hands to bust Jungleman. And when it came to Jack 4-4, he beat my running 7. He hit 7-8 when I had King Jack, and he hit runner. He's not so lucky against Sam Trickett, though. He couldn't hit one card, never mind 2 cards. And that's exactly what Sam's waiting for. That's exactly what Antonio's waiting for. And that's what I waited 400 hands for. Jungleman to get himself into a bad position where he's drawing nearly dead or completely dead, and to get involved, you know, doing his crazy moves.
Great start for Sam Trickett. He came in with a little bit of agenda here. He had a little bit of revenge on the.
How'd it go down?
On the tap.
Trying to
And
rub the jack
revenge is a dish best served cold.
It was beautiful.
7 folds. 3 days.
Felt like a set of 8. I tried to rep the jack 10. How'd it go down? Maybe I should have checked.
1 fold.
Raise.
C2 raise. 5,000.
Feels like you would have bet.
We have bet river.
C3 call. 4 folds.
Not a whole lot of. I thought he had king queen or something. That's what I thought he had.
Oh, I had king queen. Yeah, I thought I worried you might check if I checked the river. Did you check in the river? I had king queen beat by the way.
I didn't have king.
C5 calls.
I thought your most likely hand was king queen until you left river, and then I was just like, I don't even know what's going on.
Then my head exploded.
Well,
I had aces.
basically he played him.
Diamonds, 7 of clubs, 9 of
He
diamonds.
played him good.
Not but we know you didn't have aces. How do you know that?
C5 check.
I'll bet you didn't have aces. I'll bet you didn't have aces. I bet.
So meanwhile, the Jungleman has flopped a straight and a flush draw. But he's raised, and he's been called by. He's raised in late position. Jack 9-7 is in kind of the range of the people who called him, but he still has to fire here.
Everything's in Shakerchi's range, obviously. He's got the 8-4 offsuit right now.
Yeah, he called with 8-4 offsuit. He flopped the belly buster. I can't believe he didn't call 10 more to try to hit his 10.
He's obviously done the math, Talal Shakerchi, and that's if you read Gus Hansen's math book.
The Gus Hansen book of poker?
You have the Jack 10. I was trying to rep the Jack 10.
And by the way, take a look. Sam Trickett is chip leader.
Wow.
I'm not surprised. I mean, I think you didn't ask me who I thought was going to win this. By the way.
I didn't. Is it too late? I think you and I have both been singing Sam Trickett's praises for a while. Do you like Trickett?
I like Trickett. I like Antonio. I think Antonio's just a little bit off of his game. You know, again, he's one of the top. Those two, Trickett and Antonio, are two of the best. But I think Antonio's just a little bit off of his game. He's been a little bit tired. He's been touring around with his mother in London, and that's great.
That's why
but
might do that.
he just hasn't quite been, his 3-bets just haven't been quite as sharp, you know.
There's something else that might be at play. Not about Antonio, but the reason I think that Trickett, you're mentioning Esfandiari, Duhamel, there seemed to be that the level of play in Group A was higher than the level of play in Group B. I'm not saying it's better players, but it was, these guys are razor sharp, the ones in Group A. You know, they've had to be aware to defend. There was not a loose hand, there was not a loose chip in Group A, and I think that the 4 who got through from there are very sharp indeed.
Yeah.
Both Dan, Shak, and Tobias, they so dominated their group that they may have become a bit complacent. We'll see.
I think you would bet with equity. Why would you bet equity on the turf? It can't be a big equity, can it?
So Sam basically, you know, he has a 3-betting aggression game to win this, and so certainly he's one of the favorites. And normally Antonio would be one of the favorites, and even a little bit tired, if my read is right, or just a tiny bit off, he's still one of the favorites. Duhamel's just continued to play impressive poker, just made a great laydown when he had to for the chips, and boy, he's been impressive the whole league. Jungle Man just has raw talent. Dan Shak's just been steady.
Times are now 2,000, 4,000.
And Tobias has really kind of run over everybody as well. So,
yeah, but Tobias can't run over everybody like he has. So
yeah, he has to slow down. And Talal, meanwhile, he has to find a way to slow down because he got away with a lot against his heat, which I think you're right. His heat was completely different.
They've played the first level blinds on Abbey 2 and 4,000. You give an A+ to Sam Trickett, Jonathan Duhamel. Who else is impressing you so far, or needs to change up?
Very good question. I think Talal. I think Talal Shakerchi needs to slow down a little bit, and
What do you say, Jack?
I'm trying to get out.
pretty much everybody else has played well.
What did you have, Jungle?
And, you know, in your career, Phil, you've seen so many players who they run over tournaments and the whole circuit for a while, but until they be able to develop that tight gear and know when to use it, they're never going to be consistent champions. Tight gear is tougher than people think sometimes.
Yes, yes. And here's a Reinkemeier. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Guys come along. I mean, Michael Mizrachi did that. He came along. He won like 2 or 3 tournaments in a month or whatever, month and a half, and then he didn't do anything for a long time. And I thought, well, you know, maybe he's done. But he readjusted his game and came back and won the 50K Players Championship twice, and it's just been so impressive. So
it's a great example. Now this was raised UTG under the gun from Trickett to 8 and called in a bunch of spots, including Duhamel with the pocket 9s and the small blind.
And Tobias is in there too with Queen 9.
It is the best hand, and he doesn't want to bet it.
Well, he has 2 horrible cards, a 3 or a 9. That now a 9 would be a great card for him. See, his check there, as it turned out, which I didn't like, by the way, is going to trap Duhamel. Duhamel is now drawing completely dead to Reinkemeier's hand, completely dead.
I mean, obviously, or I guess he's done it for deception. But is it so deceptive that it's almost like unbelievable that who would check top pair in a 5-way pot?
It is very deceptive, and I think what his reasoning on the flop was, on a Queen 4 deuce flop, is all right, it's likely, someone raised, if someone does have a pair, it's likely to be deuces or 4s in that range, and so I don't really want to lose a ton of chips here with top pair, and so But my argument would be maybe he should have bet the flop, because that's a good way to find out whether they have it or not, and to actually cut your losses if they check raise. But this has worked out extraordinarily well for him, and of course he's rooting for a 9. The case 9, of course, gets him all of Duhamel's chips. So that's actually a pretty good card for Reinkemeier, because, I mean, for Duhamel, because now Duhamel can't beat a queen, and he can't beat a 4.
And he also might think that the best play here is to try and check and induce, although...
Did you do it? Not sure.
Check.
Now, depending on the bet size here from Reinkemeier, Duhamel may snap call 20 or 30,000. If he goes for more, Duhamel's going to be tested again. His reading ability is going to be tested again here.
I guess it's plausible. There's definitely a story for Reinkemeier to tell that he had a 4. It's fairly believable.
He might, Reinkemeier, when he bets here, Duhamel might put him on the ace-jack of diamonds, the ace-9 of diamonds, something like that. I mean, he certainly doesn't put him on a queen. So Duhamel's going to call. He might even just...
40,000.
He's just gone a little bigger, just enough to make you think, Phil.
Very, very hard for Duhamel to fold here. Very, very hard. I mean, right in his mind, he's like, well, he doesn't have a queen. Is he value betting 7s even? I can beat 7s. Is he value betting ace high? Probably not. And there's all the bluffs, so I think you're going to see Duhamel make a call here. He doesn't love it, but... Douche! What in the world is going on here? This Duhamel, wow!
Phil.
You know, I have not had a chance to see him play other than with his cards face down, and I assumed that there was some luck involved.
Oh my gosh, you've been missing out.
I know how talented Duhamel is. He's a world champion,
yeah.
and he has. And I'll tell you something else. I mean, he's worked hard in this game. Yes, main event champions, you asked us earlier, a lot of times people are just like, well, they were lucky, and in general, that is the case. I mean, it's someone who might be a top 100 or 200 player in the world, or might be top 1,000 player in the world that somehow, wins a bunch of flips and makes it down there. But then that's just the beginning of the story. And we've had world champions that work really hard at the game and keep trying to improve. And Duhamel has played in the high stakes games in Canada.
10,000.
And
yeah, could he be the best main event champion since Carlos Mortensen? I mean, that's this is pretty strong stuff. This guy's impressive.
I get mad. Are you kidding? How do you fold that hand just so quickly? I mean, it's one thing to get away.
Twice now. And great folds are some of the hardest things to make.
Those are great folds. I mean, and Jennifer made a very nice play here with the 6-4 clubs. If you're going to play 6-4 clubs, you might as well re-raise with it. If you're going to play it, 3-bet it.
We don't have Tony.
Calling with that hand is just way too weak, because you bring in other people that have better hands than you, and it's just real hard to win.
Because he didn't qualify.
Certainly earned her way here to the final table, dismantling the legendary Tony G.
I know I used the word at least 50 times.
We've had a lot of Premier League poker champions. Healthy, Black, Scott Seaver, David Benjamin, J.C. Tran. Who will be number 6?
I qualified.
Get that trophy.
Tony G, that's Tony G's thing. What he says.
I saw J.C. Tran recently. He said he was thinking about coming over, but I guess he just couldn't make it.
And,
he's a family guy. I think he doesn't like to travel outside of California and Vegas as much as he used to, but certainly fantastic player.
Yeah.
And the year he won, he was awesome. You guys played a legendary heads-up match that just went on forever.
I think the card gods are saying to Jungle Man, I'm gonna give you 2 deuces again, because you were supposed to play him last time.
Is bluffing being qualified as well? Probably not, right?
Only if you're saying I qualified and you didn't
I don't know if
qualify.
Antonio has stack problems yet, but he's certainly the shortest stack at the table.
You have to actually have a hand.
He's got about 45 big blinds.
He's not going to panic. He's been there before. Antonio's pretty cool under pressure. He's done a lot in this world, in this poker world, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, what has he done in addition to being the highest money earner in the history of the game, and winning a World Series of Poker bracelet or 2, and WPT champion? But you know, aside from that,
Tobias, you going to Australia?
Thinking about it. So, what about you?
right, he's a great personality at the table. I kind of think that he has been a facilitator and perhaps a little bit of an instigator in the Premier League, but not instigator in a bad way, more like a mischief maker. It's led to a lot of great sort of banter and
There's
atmosphere.
a lot of options.
The players are talking
Thailand
about
or Dubai or wherever.
It's a journey, right?
But it's 24 hours, yeah.
well,
But I don't mind.
I think
actually.
it's 20
like,
hours,
I don't
but-
feel that it's that long time. Like if I'm on a flight for 24 hours, like the flight back, I was sleeping like 12 hours and then had some meals and I don't know, watched a movie and did something on my laptop and then I was there already and I was like, wow.
So
shit, I
not
can do all
everybody
this stuff
flies
that
to
I wanna do.
Australia in a
Talking about the
private jet.
Australia.
I mean, you know, I mean, it's a little shorter when you've got
And
the
you don't
private
have
jet.
internet.
I'm not private jetting it. I'm on a commercial flight, for God's sakes.
That's true. Like doing your stuff, you know, or even like reading a book or something, you know. It's
So they're talking about the World Series of Poker APAC, WSOP APAC, Asia Pacific, which is going to be happening basically, it starts on the 3rd, so it's coming up in like 10 days or something.
Just friends calling you, you know, what
And
you
I'm
doing,
going.
what you up to today, and then you go out, whatever. The 24 hours on the plane, you just, you know.
You should go to
there.
Burning Man.
Sam Trickett's open from the button. Jungleman's 3-bet to 24,000 for the big blind. Trickett wants to know how much he's playing.
It'll change your life.
He likes it because you get
Burning
to burn
Man?
things.
Burning Man. I promise you. Bring
How
all the
long is
Germans.
that for?
It's a week.
A week?
End of August.
And
Bring all the Germans. I'll bet you it's top 5 best experiences of your life.
I'm gonna
Wow.
look it up.
Don't tell me there's
Trust
a
me.
4-bet. Don't
Tell
tell
me
me
the-
there's a
or
4-bet
after
here,
the
because
thing
there's
again,
Burning
if I
Man,
forget,
yeah,
if
you
I
got it.
forget. But I don't think I will forget because I mean you're burning stuff stories and burning.
You just
I mean this all
And all goes
fits
hand in
together.
hand.
Yeah.
That's why I like
no
it.
more peeling.
Now I have a
On
bridge.
on
Now I have
Saturday
did
night
adjust.
of the festival, they actually have a huge...
Sam has a jack
burn
9 on the
big
button.
man.
It looks huge against raising there with Jungleman. He's going to call with 9-5, as we keep saying. Working 9-2-5, the Dolly Parton hand.
I had a revelation.
And instead he just re-raised it, which I think is a much better
You gotta get like
play.
an RV. You gotta get food. Major preparation.
So Jungleman is doing a few things differently here, yes.
When is it? Once a
End
year?
of August.
It's true.
So you gotta get tickets.
I thought you knew that.
It's a whole process.
That's
my
true,
friend.
but it's worth everyone's inherently better post flop when they 3-bet pre-flop.
I'm gonna look it up for sure.
I disagree with you.
Thinking about
It's
going
easier to play
to
3-bet pods out of position than
to
it is
Thailand
play
to
out of position.
live like
Five,
tried 2 weeks in the Monarch.
You win on all those scores.
Go where?
How do you call it? Like
Jungleman just said to Sam, I had a revelation the other day. Why am I always calling you from the big blind when I can 3-bet?
Like, I can't really do that much.
I
that's
don't
right.
know the word and
That's exactly right. Jungleman's made some adjustments already. I mean, he just folded ace-3. You didn't see him doing a lot of that, I bet, in the earlier heats.
pretty sick experience.
One thing about Jungleman that I think is absolute is that he loves the game of poker and wants to get better. He only plays a certain way because he believes it's the right way. But if you show him reasons why it's not the right way, and he agrees with it, he'll change.
Hopefully,
well, that's what we're going to find out, because he definitely changed. I've never seen him kind of vary his style, and he finally did it in the fourth heat. It seemed like to me, after he played way too fast to start and got away with what he got away with, it seemed like he reined it in for a long time there.
Shakerchi playing pocket twos like they were aces, and I guess they were there.
All right.
He has had a lot of fun this week. Of course, Talal being on home turf here, he does live in the city of London. The schedule hasn't been as punishing as it is for some of the players who've had to travel.
Go, Scott.
Well, you know, we most of us had to travel to get over here, and we're not necessarily all used to overseas travel. And then the other thing is, we have to commute basically. I think I finally found a tube I can get here in about 35 minutes.
Right.
But you know, maybe 45 minutes to conclude all the walking and everything, but maybe 35 minutes. But there's several times we were stuck in cars for an hour, a group of us, and we're talking the whole time too, which is also draining some energy, but fun. I mean, because you know you're with a great group of guys, and so you can't help but chat. But
they told Tony G there was traffic. Take the tube the other day, and he said okay. He asked for a private car. He'd never been on the tube before. You know, a private subway car. Fortunately, they didn't have one for him. She was willing to pay.
Private subway.
Jungle, where do you live now?
Huh?
Where do you live now?
Good question.
You back with Jamie now?
No. I have a place in Cape Town, but I don't...
Whereabouts? Seafront?
Huh?
Whereabouts? Seafront?
Actually, yeah. Well, Greenpoint.
Greenpoint, yeah.
It's a funny thing about Jungleman. I mean, he really has been, nearly since the fateful Black Friday, as they call it, a man from his suitcase. And if you ask him, he'll tell you, you know, in the last 3 months, Romania, Morocco, South Africa, London, Australia, Venice. He's actually become a guy who loves to travel.
There are definitely better areas.
Yeah, and you know, South Africa is a long flight. I looked into going down there, and
The main problem is there's just like...
when we go to the World Series of Poker, WSOP A in Africa, and we really looked into the flights, and you'd have to fly to New York, and then you'd be on like an 18-hour flight from New York to Hull. Yeah, so I'm surprised that Jungleman, you know, decided to live there of all places.
We tried. We have a place in a hotel basically, but it's overpriced.
But he said he loves it.
Does it do that thing where you're all in and all of a sudden your connection breaks, or?
That hasn't happened so much, but I've like lost fish after because
Shakerchi and Trickett.
my internet sucked.
This is round 2. And Sam's played a very defensive game against Talal. This is the second time he's checked back with flop after
music,
raising pre.
It flopped. He put out a few CDs. It didn't work well. Someone took the music to South Africa, became as big as the Beatles, and he didn't know for 30 years.
Really? Wow.
It's the most incredible documentary, Searching for Sugar Man.
Oh my God, somebody else was recommending that to me.
It's very good. It's very
Sam's
touching.
now checked it twice, as has
Things like that
Talal.
happen all the time.
Imagine being as big as the Beatles in a country and never knowing.
So where was the money going?
Watch the documentary.
Okay.
I missed the first
Shakerchi
time.
have a riverbed, he says.
Some guy created some music in the States. Put out a few records, flopped. Someone took one of the records just naturally to South Africa, played it for her boyfriend, and it spread like wildfire. And for 20, 30 years, he was just as big as the Beatles. And he never even knew it. Can you imagine?
Well, Sam's going to get the information he wanted. He has the losing hand. But you mentioned this WSOP AP. It's going to be successful, isn't it? It's going to be a big turnout.
You know, it's recently changed their mind. I asked Sam Trickett if he's going. At the, 4 days ago, no, I'm not going. All of a sudden, 2 days ago, he is going. And it just seems like just in the league, there's a bunch of people that have decided to go. And I think the world's kind of, thinking about this event, because I think it's in Australia, and they're giving away bracelets, and everybody loves the Crown Casino.
Oh, time out. They're not giving away bracelets, Phil. They never give away a bracelet.
Well, you know what I mean. Right. They're awarding bracelets.
Absolutely.
Don't I know they're not giving away? I have quite a few seconds at the World Series too.
But I understand there's a $50,000 re-entry tournament, which is going to be.
That's going to be big, and all the Macau guys are coming in for that, and that's a $50K bind. It's not a bracelet event.
That I don't understand.
Duhamel, what are you going to do? Hey, you, what you gonna do?
Well, he's gonna have to react to the Shakerchi 3-bet. And so will Jennifer. Ooh, does she have enough to peel here?
No. No, I would like to have seen her fold this. A 5-7. It's just she's putting too high a percentage of her chips in with a 7 and a 5 at this point.
Queen of Hearts, 4 diamonds.
And I hope she has a plan.
If she does, it'll work, because Talal is on ace high here. And it's a mission.
5 bets, 36,000.
Wonder if Jennifer should be thinking that Talal would be 3-betting her with a narrower range, because considering that she's conservative, that might not be true. Anyway, she passed it.
Enjoy.
Well, I don't think the players look at her and think she's conservative. I think they look at her. Yeah, they look at her and they think what I think, that if you re-raise her, she's going to call you, and she's tough, man. You know, and so they don't feel like they can run over. A lot of times you think you can stereotype and say, well, you can run over this woman. Well, a lot of the great women use that to their advantage.
When we were doing
This time I wish Jennifer should have folded that one to 5-7 of hearts pre-flop.
Somebody, it might have been Sam.
No, Annie's yet. You know, it's really set up mathematically to play super
when
tight.
somebody has been bluffed out of a pot, they do a close-up on the person that was bluffed, like in that the live feed. And so I was like looking at the camera to see what was happening.
Jennifer is very clever. Very clever.
Very clever.
There was
5 raises to 8,000.
Talal is he's just firing and firing and firing and firing. Nothing changes. He fired himself into a hole, by the way. He was the short stack for a while there. He fired himself into a hole, and he's fired himself out of a hole. We'll see if he fires himself back into the hole or back out of the hole. I don't know. I mean, he plays a very non-standard game to the. I mean, he's more wide open than Jungle Man.
yeah,
They're just the worst.
amazing.
British, I love British.
I like Virgin the most.
Never tried Virgin. I heard some good
Virgin.
things about it.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Antonio Esfandiari, the small blind, now down to 170,000. But he's the kind of, he doesn't look panicked, and I don't think he will. If you have to pick one guy to make the Final Four, it's Dan Shak. He knows how to get there.
2 fold.
He really does. I mean,
3 fold.
the players feel that his weakness is he'll flop top pair and put way too much money in with one pair. That's what they feel Dan Shak's weakness is, and so there, you know. But that means you can't bluff him. So
4 raises to 9,000.
here comes Shakerchi.
Oh, well, of course. It's all he could do not to 3-bet.
Duhamel with ace-10 of spades, a very natural, normal place to 3-bet it. You know, Shakerchi could have anything. Yep, and here comes Duhamel's first. I mean, it's just a standard re-raise, and it just seems to be okay, but I mean.
Did you hear, Antonio? Please let me have something here. An indication that he's willing to go with this if it's a little weaker than normal. And it's ace-10, Phil. This is the kind of hand where you could make a play if you feel like everyone's light. Is that correct?
Well, you know, once it's 2-bet and 3-bet, Antonio is just going to have to get away because it's too likely that one of the guys has his hand beat. So he can do whatever kind of read he wants to do Duhamel, but
there's 58,000 in there to pick up. Is that going to tempt him? You believe that if he does make this play, it's a little rash.
He's not going to make it. I mean, you just can't do it. I mean, it's just not with a 2-bet, not with a 3-bet in front of you.
Sorry, mate. See you
And for Reinkemeier, he wants to know how deep Duhamel is.
Now this is where if Duhamel has done his research and watched. I didn't see Reinkemeier 4-bet that often, Jesse. I saw it with the ace-deuce hand, but then I never saw it again the rest of the Premier League. So Am I right or wrong about that? Maybe one time against Jason he 4-bet that I saw. One time in the whole heat yesterday did he 4-bet with 10-8, remember?
I think you're right. I think you're right about that.
He's not a big 4-better, so if he's 4-betting, he has it, Reinkemeier. Big 3-better. Reinkemeier is selling it. He's really selling it. The more time he takes, the weaker he looks, and he knows this to a certain point. You know, I mean, some guys when they study for a minute and a half, they always have aces. You know, and that's a little bit too long. So,
and with the ace-king, even though it's early at this final table, you have to be willing to get the money in if you're asked the question.
Well, we're playing to win now. This is not points anymore. This is poker.
So Duhamel now has the information he's behind. It's just a question of whether or not he chooses to believe it or not. But he's been sent the message.
Yeah, I think really he's supposed to get away from this relatively easily. He's made all the right moves so far, but the problem is sometimes when the pressure's on you and you make 2 or 3 great plays, you don't know you made 2 or 3 great plays. And so we're asking him again just to make a good play and fold. And I think he'll reach the right conclusion here.
One thing we did notice about Duhamel is in the heats a couple times he chose to send the message early, if you know what I mean. And then he did! He went all in! He's wrong! He was trying to send a message, and he is not the boss. So, Phil, what do you have to say?
Well, you know, Duhamel made some great folds, but he made a really poor play here. I mean, basically what he did is he just 5-bet all in with ace-10 suited against a guy who hasn't 4-bet very much. And it's just, I don't like seeing people 5-bet almost ever with ace-10 offsuit. So.
Wow, and he's shaking his head. Duhamel's not happy about it. He's actually got some outs to a split pot. It would be a reprieve from the governor.
Yeah, and he'd be so happy just with the split here.
I'll tell you, I mean, I don't know who's more disappointed, Duhamel or the poker fans out there who are so much enjoying watching this guy's Premier League.
Oh, and he got a split. Oh, my God.
Can't get it.
Wow.
Amazing.
And let me tell you something right now. His aura just disappeared. Okay? It disappeared. Every player at that table says, wow, look at the mistake he made. He's vulnerable. He's been sitting there playing so tough. He's made all the right moves and made one major blunder late. Basically 8-handed in the Premier League final table, and all of a sudden Antonio and Trickett are looking at him differently. They're saying he's vulnerable. So his aura with the rest of the players at the table is gone.
It is, and he's still shaking his head. He was mentally prepared to walk out that door. He's going to have to regroup now. And
no, I'll tell you what's going to happen. He's going to regroup because he's played so well. He's going to say, "Wow, what was I doing?" And he's going to realize what a mistake that was. And I think he's going to come back and play better. But again, his aura's gone, and he's going to have to fight that the whole time now because now they're like, "Wow."
I do believe that was a watch measuring war there, and you know, Duhamel just squared up and said, "I'm the bigger boy." But Reinkemeier had the goods.
Wow, what a lucky card for Duhamel. Oh my God.
I'll tell you, one guy who's not surprised that Duhamel moved in there is Joseph Chong. The man who came third in the main event when Duhamel won it. Those guys went to town with each other.
And here we have the chip counts, Jess. Reinkemeier with the chip lead.
Chip lead, but add Duhamel's chips to it and see what could have been, Phil. He could have been running away with this Premier League early.
Really? And there it is, 439. Okay, they updated it.
Duhamel in third position. I mean, Reinkemeier could very well have over 800K right now. So we're still going to get to play.
And Jungleman has picked up aces twice and just, I don't understand why he got so reckless with Queen 10, but that's his game. You know, that's his game. And if he hits a jack, he has a lot of chips, but there's only 4 jacks in the deck, you know.
He can say to himself, he's still stunned. At least I was trying to win. I guess we're going to...
he's very disappointed in this play. He's very disappointed. He knows that the world saw that play, and he's just like, wow, what did I do? I'm going to look so silly on TV. And so his confidence is a bit shattered, because, believe me, it's tough, and that's what drives me crazy sometimes when I'm at a final table, is, you know, just those thought processes that are going on, you know. Jennifer Tilly folding ace-9 under the gun.
Wow, look how classy is Tobias. He says, I can live with this split.
So 4 raises to 9,000.
6-7 suited for Tobias. Jennifer should be glad she folded that ace-9.
6-6 folds.
Talal just calls with ace-jack of spades.
My gosh,
Antonio.
there's some hands out there. Phil.
Wow. Yeah, well, we're looking at the monitor. We see some hands they don't see.
See that calls?
It's already 4 ways. And the Jungleman to close the action.
I like it. I think it's
Jungleman just calls with tens. Wow.
Is that sort of standard considering what's out there?
That is completely not like him. I mean, you know, but he's changed his game for this final. And
7 of spades, 9 of spades. C2 check.
this pot looks over, I mean, to me.
Talal's got everything.
He has everything. He has top pair. He has the nut flush draw. He has a kicker. This pot just looks over. I think Jungleman with the big raise would have won this pot before the flop, by the way. I'm not saying that's the right move for his chip stack, but...
6-7 check. And C8 check.
Talal actually slipped it here on the flop.
Wow.
Not sure why.
Wow, he doesn't want a 7 or a 6. Oh, my God. He waited until Reinkemeier hit 3 7s to get involved. Oh, why did you do that, Talal? Why didn't you just fire?
I mean, I don't actually understand, Phil.
It was a horrible play because too many cards come off where someone makes something that has you in bad shape, and there it is.
5-way action. You have to define someone's hand with 5-way action, right?
Well, it's a 7-9 ace. Now, if you have the ace-jack of spades, you want to get the money in there anyway. You don't want an 8 to come off and somebody to have 10-jack, you know? I mean, you just don't want it, so...
6-7 folds.
Now he's just in payoff land, Shakerchi, and...
Well, he needs a spade. I mean, the 6 of spades is a disaster. He just goes broke, but other than that, he needs a spade.
And the river is a 6 of diamonds.
6 of anything makes a full house for Reinkemeier.
Now, Reinkemeier already knows he checked ace-king, and Talal checked behind him king-queen. Now, believe me, Reinkemeier knows this. So he's thinking, in order to get paid here, I have to bet, because Shakerchi could have ace-3 here. He's not going to value bet it, and so I need to bet. And so the question is, how much will Talal pay off? And maybe he'll bet 70,000. Oh, he opted to win a small amount of money. Talal's calling. We all know this.
It's a very small bet. Is it such a small bet that he's trying to make Talal think he's trying to be a blocker here? He's got an ace with a smaller kicker, an ace-4 diamonds or something like that. Have I got him?
Well, these players know each other pretty well, but you know, and maybe he does sense some strength there, but I think he's going to call it. Talal senses something here. He's like, all right, Reinkemeier doesn't bet into me on the river unless he has it. There's some history here that we haven't seen, but I still have to call, just in case he has ace-10.
Shows full house.
Good enough. And
I think Tobias could have bet more there and been called, frankly. I don't blame him for the bet size, but, you know, that seems okay.
Things are going well for Reinkemeier.
But he just won a free, I don't know how many free chips he won there, but they were all free because basically there's no way Talal can check that flop. Just no way. It's different if it, say, comes to ace 9-4 with the 9-4 of spades. Maybe you could check because, but just there's too many, you know, straight possibilities, and you just can't check that.